Hi everybody, my name is Rupa, working as Assistant Professor in Chevrolet Engineering College. I'm dealing the subject electrical machines too. Today's topic is in alternators distribution factor. See here, this is also called as breadth or spreading or winding factor. So what is distribution factor means the coil will be distributed in different slots. Okay, suppose if you take a 4-pole alternator, it has suppose if it has 36 slots total, each pole will be distributing 9 slots. Okay, so 36 slots, 9 poles. Okay, so each pole, under each pole it is having 9 slots. So we are saying that 9 slots per pole, right? For example, if coil 1, 2, 3 belong to R phase, so in that phases will be there. Again, 9 slots per pole. How many phases? 3 phases. 9 by 3, again 3 slots per pole per phase. Okay, so per phase we are getting 3 coils. Suppose I am telling that 1, 2, 3 coils belong to R phase. Now these 3 coils will be constituting of one polar group. These 3 coils are not bunched into one slot. Okay, they are not tied together and bunched and kept in one slot, but these are distributed. This will be forming a polar group. So these bunches which are distributed, this is called as distribution factor. And the angular displacement between any two adjacent slots will be 180 divided by how much? 9. 9 slots per pole. 180 divided by n, where n is slots per pole. How many slots per pole? So 36 slots, 9 poles. Okay, so each slot is 36 slots, 4 poles. Each slot is under one pole. 9 slots are under one pole. Okay, so see here, 36 slots total. Okay, and 4 poles. 4 poles. So under each pole, how many slots will be divided? 36 by 4. Right? That is equal to 9. So 9 slots per pole. 9 slots per pole. Each pole is divided 9 slots. Okay. So 180 degrees divided by n. This is called as n. This 9 is called as n. N slots per pole. So that is equal to 180 degrees by n. If you write the formula 180 degrees divided by n, then you will get how many degrees apart from each slot. Okay, so suppose I am telling each slot is having how many degrees, find out. Okay, how to find out? 180 degrees divided by n. 180 degrees divided by 9, that is equal to each slot is having a difference of 20 degrees, right? 180 degrees divided by 9, 20 degrees. So out of each difference of slots degrees is 20 degrees, right? So each slot difference is 20 degrees. Total 9 slots, up to 9 slots we can get 180 degrees. That is called as pole pitch, right? So if you combine 9 slots here, 1, 2, 3 up to 9, you will get you have to get the difference 180. 20, 20, 40, 40, 20, 60, again 60, 20, 80, like that you have to get 180. Okay. So if 3 coils are punched in one slot, the total EMF induced in the 3 sides of the coil is arithmetic sum of 3 EMFs. That is 3 ES. Suppose here 3 ES, 3 EMFs are there. Right? So 3 ES will be the arithmetic sum, where ES is the EMF induced in one coil side. So as the coils are distributed, the individual EMFs are having a phase difference of 20 degrees. Now the vector sum we can see here in B figure, we can see the vector sum. This is the vector sum B. So total E is equal to ES cos 20 degrees plus ES cos 20 degrees plus ES plus again ES cos 20 degrees. That is equal to 2 ES cos 20 degrees plus ES. right? That is equal to 2 into ES into cos 20 degrees is 0.9397 plus ES. So total 2.8 ES. Okay, so I can define the distribution factor KD. It is defined as EMF with distributed winding by EMF with concentrated winding. It is the formula you have to remember. EMF with distributed winding by EMF with concentrated winding. In the present case, I will be applying this formula. EMF with distributed winding. So what is the distributed winding formula for present case? EMF with winding in 3 slots per pole per phase. Okay, so total there are 36 slots and 4 poles. So each pole is dividing 9 slots per pole, right? 9 slots per pole. Again, these 9 slots are divided by 3 phases. So total you are getting 3 slots per pole per phase. Okay, so before 9 slots per pole, now I can write 3 slots per pole per phase. Again, I am dividing this 9 into 3 phases. So 9 by 3. That is equal to 3. So 3 slots per pole per phase. So what is the 3 slots per pole per phase formula? E, that is equal to 2.88 ES. So substitute this 2.88 ES. Under that, EMF with winding in 1 slot per pole per phase. So once per 1 slot, per 1 pole per 1 phase. What is the EMF? 3. 3 bunches are there, and we are keeping the 3 bunches of different phases in each slot. So 3 ES. So that is equal to 3 ES. That is equal to 2.88 by 3. ES get cancelled. 2.88 by 3 0.96. So this is the KD distribution factor. Generally, I will explain you the formula for KD. See here, in general case, I will be taking the KD. See, let the slots angle, the angle between the 2 slots is beta. Okay, so let beta be the value of angular displacement between the 2 slots. So its value is beta is equal to 180 by n, right? I said before in previous problem you wrote 180 divided by n. N is 90. 9 means how many slots each pole is divided. N is how many slots each pole is divided. So 36 slots, 4 poles. So each pole is divided into 9 slots. Each pole shares 9 slots. So that we have to write as n. So 9. Okay. So next, 180 degrees beta is equal to, in the form of formula, I can write beta is equal to 180 degrees by number of slots per pole. That is equal to 180 by n. Right. So 180 by n. Where m is nothing but number of slots per pole. Here I am writing. Yeah, here I am taking m is number of slots per pole per phase. So previously I got 3, right? See, these 9, n is divided into again 3 phases. Okay, so n by 3, that is nothing but m. N by 3 is equal to, m is equal to n by 3. Number of slots per pole and per phase. Next, m into beta, phase spread angle. M beta is called as phase spread angle. So how much phase the angle is spread is called, total angle is m beta. Each adjacent slot is having a angle beta. Okay, so the angle between the 2 slots is called as beta, 20 degrees. The 20 degrees in before example is called as beta. Okay, now the resultant voltage will be induced in one polar group will be, say, M into ES, where ES is the voltage induced in one coil. So from the figure, if you find the vector sum of M, that is from here to here, A to E. Okay, so the voltages all will be having a mutual phase difference of beta. All will be having a phase difference of beta, right? Each slot is having 20 degrees, means every slot is having same 20 degrees, right? So all the angle is having, all the slots are having beta angle. Okay, so AB can be written as ES. ES is equal to 2R sine beta by 2. Where R is the radius of the circle. and arithmetic sum m into beta s, sorry, m into es, total m into es is equal to m into es, this form. So m into 2r sine beta by 2. That is nothing but AE. The vector sum is AE. That is equal to 2r sine m beta by 2. The angle is m beta. So in the place of beta, I have to write m beta. So 2r m sine m beta by 2. Now KD is equal to vector sum of coils by arithmetic sum. So this is the arithmetic sum and this is the vector sum. So substitute that. Vector sum means 2r sine m beta by 2 and arithmetic sum means m into 2r sine beta by 2. That is equal to sine m beta by 2 by m sine beta by 2. That is the general definition of the distribution factor or breadth factor or spread factor or winding factor. Okay, so the various values for distribution factor of three-phase alternator, if you take different number of slots per pole per phase, I am showing you in the form of a table. See here, if you are having slots per pole, that is n. This is n. M is 1, 3 by 3, n by 3. That is equal to m. Okay, so this is n. This is n by 3, right? N by 3 phases divided by 3 phases. So this is slots per pole and m is slots per pole per phase. Okay, so 3 by 1, 3 by 3, n by 3, n is 3, 3 by 3, 1, 6 by 3, 2, 9 by 3, 3, like that. This is the value of m and this is the value of beta and this is the value of KD, distribution factor. So see here, n is equal to 3, right? M is equal to 1. Beta, what is beta value? That is, what is the adjacent angle? What is the difference between the two slots? What is the difference? 60 degrees. So each slot is having 60 degrees difference. So for 180, see here, other 60, another 60 difference is there. Total up to here 120, up to here 180. So total again other 60. So total comprises of 60, 60, 60 phase difference. Total from here first slot, second slot and third slot and fourth slot. So up to fourth slot the total difference is 180. So it is called as coil span or full pitch, right? If the first coil side is located on first slot and second side of the coil should be passed through the fourth slot, then it is called as full pitch, right? If the difference between the two coil sides is 180, it is coil span nothing but 180 is the full pitch. But if the coil side one will be flowing from one will be spread from one slot and second coil side is from 3 slot. So what is the angle difference? It is differed by 60 degrees. So total 4 by 3 by 4 is the pole pitch. Do you understand? I will tell you in problems. Okay. So in general, I can, when beta is equal to small, I can write the formula, simple formula, sin m beta by 2 by m beta by 2, where angle m beta by 2 will be in variance. Okay, so this is all about the distribution factor. And next, what is the induced EMF? As you learn the induced EMF in before, induction motor, alternators, generators, motors, transformers, like that only, here also we have to deduce the EMF equation. For that I am taking the assumption, see, Z is equal to number of conductors or coil sides in series. So when Z is equal to number of conductors, then Z is equal to 2T, where T is number of coils or turns per phase. Okay, so if you remember that one coil has 2 sides, so 1T and other T, so Z is having 2T. T, number of poles, all you know. F, frequency of induced EMF in Hz. Next, flux per pole in Webers. KD, it is the distribution factor, sin m beta by 2 by m sin beta by 2. And Kc or Kp, coil span factor or pitch factor, that is equal to cos alpha by 2. Next, Kf, this is the form factor, that is equal to 1.11 for the sinusoidal wave, assuming. And n is equal to rotor. Remember, this is in RPM. Okay, so for one revolution of rotor, the rotor is revolving, and for one revolution I am considering. After that, I will be considering for total number of revolutions, right? So for n. So for one revolution, that is for one revolution, it is 60 seconds by n, right? 60 by n. How much time it is taking rotor? 60 by n seconds for making one revolution. So it while rotating, the rotor will cut the flux, right? So each stator conductor is cut by flux of 5p. Okay, so how much flux it is cutting? Poles, p poles, 5 flux are giving. Okay, so what is the total flux? 5 into p. So the rotor is cutting total flux of 5 into p Webers. So d phi is equal to 5 into p. And what is the time? Dt is equal to 60 by n seconds. Okay, so EMF induced is equal to d phi by dt, right? Average EMF. You have to mention that average EMF because it is a AC machine. You have to confirm whether it is the average value or RMS value. In DC machine, only average values will be there. But in the AC machines, RMS values we have to consider as it is regarding the phases. Okay. So average EMF induced per conductor is equal to d phi by dt, that is equal to 5p by 60 by n. Total flux is d phi, 5 into p. And what is the time the rotor is making? 60 by n seconds per one revolution. So 5p by 60 by n, that is equal to 5 np by 60. So this is the average EMF. Okay, so we know that the formula F is equal to Pn by 120 or N is equal to F. P is equal to Np by Nf by 120. So from that we can say that N is equal to 120 F by P. So if I substitute here N is equal to 120 F by P. I am substituting N as 120 F by P. So see here, substituting the value of N in the above equation, 5 into P by 60 into in place of N, I am substituting 120 into F by P. So that is equal to 61s and 62s, P get cancelled, PP get cancelled. So 2 pi F. It is the average EMF per conductor. Per one conductor, I am assuming there is one conductor, and what is the EMF induced? Per one conductor, there will be 2 pi of voltage induced. So total how many conductors are there? Z conductors. So into Z. So if there are Z conductors in series per phase, the average EMF induced is 2F pi into Z. So if you want this formula in T in terms of turns, so Z is equal to 2 into T. Okay, Z is equal to 2 times of T, that is equal to 2 into T means 2 into this one, T into this one, this formula. So 4 into 5 into F, 4 into 5 into F, and Z in place of Z 2T. So T volts. So this is the average EMF per phase produced in the rotor. So see here now, I have to convert in terms of phases. So per phase we have to take the not the average value, we have to take the RMS value. So actually RMS value will be multiplied with 1.11 when you assume it is a sine wave. So I am assuming that I am getting the sine wave as output. So I am multiplying the average value into 1.11 to get the RMS value form factor. Because RMS value is equal to form factor into average value, right? So form factor is 1.11 for sine wave, 1.11 into 4F 5 into T, that is equal to 4.44 F into 5 into T volts. Okay, so this is the average, RMS value of induced EMF per phase. but I have to consider whether it is concentrated or bunched or whether it is full pitched. So taking all the assumptions, I have to multiply these two factors also, Kc and Kd, coil pitch or coil span factor or pole pitch factor or distribution factor. Okay, so see here, I am multiplying this to 4.44 Kc, Kd and Kf into F into 5 into T. Okay, so this is the actual formula, actual available voltage per phase. So if the alternator is star connected, in this case I am assuming star connected, right? So then the line voltage should be equal to √3 times the phase voltage. Now, this is the induced EMF. Next topic is effect of harmonics on pitch and distribution factors. What is the effect of harmonics and in pitch? Okay, so here Kf means full pitch, nothing but here. Kc means coil span, Kd means distribution factor. What is the effect of harmonics on pitch and distribution factors? See here. First, there are here three conditions. In first condition, I am taking if short pitch angle or cording angle is alpha degrees. So, alpha degrees electrical I am taking. Now, for the fundamental flux wave, its value will be different for different harmonics. There will be fundamental equation, third harmonic, fifth harmonic, seventh harmonic, like that. So actually the pitch factor Kc for the fundamental equation without considering any harmonics is cos alpha by 2, you know all. Kc is equal to cos alpha by 2 for fundamental. If third harmonic is considered, multiply with 3, alpha multiply with 3. Okay, so cos 3 alpha by 2.
Sorry, I missed that.
And for fifth harmonic, it is cos 5 alpha by 2. Okay, so this is the pitch factor. Next, distribution factor also for different harmonics we will calculate. So first for fundamental one, what is that? Kd is equal to sine m beta by 2 by m sine beta by 2. This is the fundamental harmonics, fundamental distribution factor without harmonics. So if fundamentals, that means n is equal to 1, Kd1 is equal to 1, you have to put for n is equal to 1, sine m beta by 2 by m sine beta by 2. Okay, we have to multiply here 1. Next, for third harmonic, 3m, Kd3 is equal to sine 3m beta by 2 by m sine beta by 2. And for fifth harmonic, Kd5 is equal to sine 5m beta by 2 by m sine beta by 2. Okay, next, last one. Frequency will also be changed. So I have not mentioned the last one. Frequency, just listen. Frequency is also changed. So if the fundamental frequency, actually the fundamental frequency is 50 Hz. For third harmonic, it is 3 into 50. Right? Multiply with 3, 50. So actually, F is equal to 50 Hz. Okay, so this is for fundamental. For F3, third harmonic, that is, this is considered as F1. For third harmonic, you have to multiply this 50 into 3, that's all. 50 into 3, that is 150 Hz. For fifth harmonic, you have to multiply with 5 into 50. Hz. That is 250 Hz. Okay, so see, now I am putting the alternator on load. So what happens when the alternator is kept on load? So as on DC machine, there will be a numerous changes in the alternator when it is put on the load. Okay, so as the load, when you put the alternator on the load and the load is varied and its terminal voltage is also found to be varied. Okay, so the variation of this voltage is due to following reasons. First one, voltage drop due to armature resistance RA. So there will be some resistance drop in the armature windings. So that is termed as voltage drop. That is nothing but armature windings are treated as resistances. So when the resistances heat, what happens? Sorry, when the resistances are when the current passes through resistances, what happen? They get heated up. The copper winding gets heated up. So when the copper winding gets heated up, the heat will be dissipated into the air, right? This is called as voltage drop. The heat which is dissipating into the atmosphere will be giving out power outside. So there will be some loss in the power. This is called as voltage drop. There will be some loss of voltage. That is called as drop in the voltage drop. For what? Due to the armature resistances. The resistances, the copper wires which are in the armature. Okay, next, second one. Voltage drop due to armature leakage reactance XL. Okay, so due to the inductive nature also, there will be some voltage drop. What is inductive nature? If the voltage is, if the current is passed through the inductance, they will get, again the coil get heated up. Again, voltage will be coming across the inductor. This voltage coming across the inductor is called as voltage drop. So this is due to the, this is in the armature due to the inductance. So that's why it is called as voltage drop due to armature leakage reactance, that is termed as XL. And last one, voltage drop due to armature reaction. Okay, so what is armature reaction in DC generators? Same armature reaction will be in the alternators also, AC generators also. So the decrease of main MMF or the decrease of main flux due to the flux in the armature. This is called as armature reaction. So due to the anti-flux produced in the armature, because armature is also iron substance. Iron parts carries flux. They carries current. So the armature which is carrying flux and current will always opposes the main flux and main current. So that's why some of the amount of flux and current and voltage will be reduced. So this reduced voltage is called the reduction of voltage due to the armature flux and current is called as armature reaction. Okay, so now how they will be means, so first consider armature reaction, sorry, armature resistance. So first drop. So the armature resistance per phase is RA. It causes a voltage drop per phase, that is termed as IRA, which is in phase with the armature current IA, because this is resistance, this is in phase. So actually this armature resistance drop is practically negligible because it is of small value. It can be neglected practically while taking the readings. Second one, armature leakage reactance. See here, when the current will be flowing through the armature conductance, fluxes will be set up. Okay, some fluxes will be set up. These some fluxes which out of the flux setup, some flux do not cross the air gap, but it will be taking different paths. It will be moving in different paths. So such fluxes are called as leakage fluxes. They will not cross the air gap. They will be fluctuating from the air gap. They will be moving away from the air gap. These are called as leakage fluxes. So various leakage fluxes I am showing you here. See, this is one type of sinusoidal type of leakage flux, and this is a other leakage flux. This will not cross the air gap. This will be flowing in its own direction. That is called as leakage flux. Okay, so this leakage flux will be practically independent of saturation. Whether the iron part is saturated or not, it's do not bother. They will be independent of saturation. But these leakage fluxes, as they are produced due to the current, these are dependent on the current and its phase angle with the terminal voltage. So how it be? How it is? Is it of resistive nature? Is it of capacitive nature? And is it of inductive nature? And so this is dependent on the current and the phase angle with the terminal voltage V. So this leakage flux, what it does, it will be setting up an EMF or self inductance, which is called as reactance EMF. Okay, so this leakage fluxes, they will be not crossing the air gap, they will be flowing in its own directions. So these will be having, this will be setting up flux. This is called as self inductance and which is known as reactance EMF, and which are ahead 90 degrees ahead of current by 90 degrees. So here the armature winding is assumed to be possessed with some leakage flux. Okay, so that is called as XL. Leakage flux is called as XL. So it is called as Portier reactance. It is also known as Portier reactance XP. XP. Okay, so here the voltage drop will be equal to I into XL. What is the voltage drop? V is equal to IL. So V is equal to V is equal to I into R. Actually, strictly speaking, you have to speak R into I. Okay, so V is equal to R into I. R here resistance is in the form of inductance, that is leakage flux. Okay, so R will be replaced by XL. So V is equal to, what is the voltage drop? This is actually a drop, not the yielded voltage. It is a drop. The leakage fluxes flowing in their own direction, they sets up flux called leakage flux. Okay, so this leakage flux, see here, this is the voltage drop. There will be some voltage in the leakage flux, so that will be termed as voltage drop. So it is equal to I into L. So total E is equal to, what is the formula of total E? E is equal to, from the phasor diagram, see, this is the voltage vector and I is lagging to voltage vector. As it is of inductive nature, I will be always lagging to V. So by some phi angle it is lagging. Now depending upon the I, we have to draw the phasor diagram of IRA drop. Right? IRA drop will be parallel to I. IXL drop will be perpendicular to I. Okay, so actually E is equal to, what is the formula for E? E is equal to V plus IRA plus J into IXL. Right? So for E we are first taking V. So this is the V. For V I have to add IRA. So from the ending of V I have to start IRA. How to draw IRA? In which angle? Same parallel to I. I have to draw IRA drop. Resistance drop is parallel to current vector. So same as I have to parallelly draw IRA. I have to add this IRA to V. That means from ending point of V, I have to start this IRA. And for this IRA, I have to add IXL. IXL, how to draw from the ending point of IRA? I have to start IXL. So how to draw with what angle? Perpendicular to IRA or perpendicular to I vector, I have to draw IXL. So perpendicular to IRA, I am drawing IXL. Okay, so if you add these V, IRA and IXL, what you get? You will get E. So V, IRA, IXL, you will get E. Okay, this is the phasor diagram. Next, last one, armature reaction. See here, armature reaction. Actually, in DC generators, this armature reaction is the effect of armature flux on the main field flux, right? So in the case of alternators, the power of the load, it is considerably affect on the armature reaction. Okay, so what is the, sorry, not power, power factor is the power factor of the load. The load is there on the alternator, so the load is having some power factor, right? This power factor on the load, it has considerable effect on the armature reaction. Okay, so actually three types of power factors will be there. When the load of power factor is unity, and when the load of power factor is zero lagging, and when the load of the power factor is zero leading. Okay, so three types of power factors will be there: unity, lagging, leading. So before discussing this topic, I have to say one point. In three-phase induction, in three-phase machines, the combined ampere turn wave, that is nothing but MMF wave, it is sinusoidally taken, and this will be moving synchronously. Okay, this will be synchronously moving. The ampere turn or MMF wave is fixed to poles. Relative to poles, it is fixed. And its amplitude is always proportional to the load current, but the position will be depending upon the power factor of the load. So noting all these